Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you to the 49th Parliamentary Session of the World Teen Parliament, an initiative that started in the year 2022 when we elected the first World Teen Parliament on 22nd of January 2022. Since then, each year, we do an online election. Teenagers participate from multiple countries, and the top 100 teens who get the maximum votes get elected as members of parliament for a tenure of 1 year or 12 months. So today as well, during this 49th parliamentary session, the 5th World Teen Parliament will get constituted and the names of the 100 teens will be declared during this parliamentary session. We are very thankful to all the guests who have taken out the time for being here with us today. And to officially start this parliamentary session, I would invite Ms. Veena Gaur, the Chairperson for Blub World, for the welcome note for initiating this 49th parliamentary session. Mrs. Veena Gaur, over to you for the welcome address.
Namaste, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to all present here. We welcome you all to the inaugural session of the 5th World Teen Parliament. This has been a unique effort in the history of mankind that a parliament of teenagers has been elected and organized in the name of World Teen Parliament. We feel so happy and proud to say that year after year, teenagers from more than 50 countries from all over the world have been joining World Teen Parliament. First of all, we are highly honored to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Claudius J. Francis, Speaker, House of Assembly of St. Lucia. Welcome, sir. Our next honored guest is Senator Seville Francis, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Government of Grenada. Welcome. Then we give a warm welcome to Ms. Shara Singh, Member of Parliament, South Africa. You're most welcome, ma'am. Now we are very happy to welcome Ms. Tamarin, Breedt, Member of Parliament, South Africa. Welcome, ma'am. Now it's time to welcome with immense pleasure our real-life heroes, the recently elected MPs of the 5th World Teen Parliament. Welcome, Teen MPs, my dear ones. How can we forget to remember our ex-Teen MPs of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th World Teen Parliaments who have completed a wonderful journey with us of incredible work in their chosen work field. Now, a warm welcome to all our advisors, patrons, supporters, well-known school leaders, principals, teachers, caring parents, family and friends, and all our viewers with whose efforts we could complete this amazing journey of creating the 5th World Teen Parliament. You all are most welcome here to this platform of teenagers bubbling with unstoppable energy. So you all are most welcome here. Thank you. It's over to Daksh.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Gaur, for the welcome note of the 49th parliamentary session. Now it's time to initiate the session and invite our speakers and guests for today to talk to teens about something superbly interesting. They'll be talking about the topic later, but right now we want them to share with these teens what do they think, why is democracy important, why do they need to engage, and any teen stories that they might have from their teen years or something that interesting they may be doing in their constituencies, in their countries. So let's listen to our speakers for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Claudius J. Francis, the Honorable Speaker of the House of Assembly of St. Lucia. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this conversation, and a very warm welcome.
Good night to you in India, and good morning to those from the Caribbean. I am actually just returning from India. I only got back home day before yesterday, having been in India for 8 days. But back to the topic. Democracy, of all the systems which have been tried worldwide, democracy is certainly the best. All of us must have the right to express ourselves as freely as we wish. But democracy also has its limits. We ought not to use those rights to infringe on other people's rights. So as the saying goes, with democracy, there must be responsibility. So I would urge all of you young people to practice your free speech to the limits, recognizing that you must also be responsible in that speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the opening statement for the 49th Parliamentary Session. Let's now hear it from our next guest for today. A very warm welcome to Senator Seville Francis, the Parliamentary Secretary for the Ministry of Youth and Sports from the Government of Grenada. Senator, over to you for your opening address and a very warm welcome.
Good morning from the beautiful Spice Island of Grenada in the warm Caribbean and tropical climate. And good evening and namaste to everyone listening and viewing online. It gives me immense pleasure to be representing and speaking to young teens across the world who are so ready to become parliamentarians to shape the future and to take lead as they prepare to create a world that the generation after will be proud of. I must say that young people do not distrust democracy. They distrust distance. They distrust the distance between institution and everyday life, and the promises being made versus the promises being kept. The distance between being spoken about and being spoken with. I serve as a member of parliament in Grenada, a small island developing state in the Caribbean, one with a deep understanding that democracy cannot survive if it is not constantly renewed. And that renewal must begin with young people. Ever so often, we say that the youth are the future, but I share a different opinion. I believe that the youth is now and the future is now. I currently serve as the Parliamentary Secretary, a Senator and Parliamentary Secretary with special responsibility for youth. And that role carries both a privilege and responsibility. And I often say that with great power comes an equal or even greater responsibility. My work involves debating and shaping laws, holding institutions accountable, and ensuring that national policies reflect the lived realities of the people they serve, especially the young people. But beyond legislation, my responsibility is also to bridge the gap between government and youth so that democracy feels accessible, relevant, and human. The true power of my role is not just authority and it's not just access. It is access to decision-making spaces where I can be the voice for our young people, access to regional and international platforms, and access to leaders who can influence systems. And I use that access intentionally because I once stood where young people wish they had the opportunity to open doors for young people, to amplify youth voices, and to challenge system intentionally within for those who are excluded and they are meant to serve. But my journey did not begin in Parliament. My journey began as a youth parliament, learning how to debate respectfully, how to question power responsibly, and how to advocate with purpose. That experience shaped my belief that youth leadership is more than tokenism and it's more than a symbolic gesture. It is essential for a healthy democracy. And here in Grenada, our elections are a democratic process. We have invested deliberately in youth governance through our National Youth Parliament program. This is not a one-off ceremonial event. It is something that is ongoing. Our young people sit regularly, debate national issues, draft motions, and engage in parliamentary procedure. The program shadows our real parliament, helping people understand how laws are made, how accountability works, and that disagreement can happen, but respectfully. And this exposure builds confidence, the civic understanding, and trust. It allows young people to see democracy as something not distant or intimidating, but as something that they can understand, participate in, and one day lead as real leaders. And that is how trust is built in democracy, through participation. My leadership is also shaped by my tenacity and resilience. I have a number of stories that I can share, but in the interest of time, I would say that there was one time when I thought I was not good enough as a young person. I thought that I did not belong at the tables where the decisions were being made. And I often, sometimes we hear the negative comments and you start to internalize it. But eventually I realized that we have a right, and it's not just a privilege, but we have a right to be where the decisions are being made, because essentially what is happening and the decisions that are being made actively and seriously affect us as young people, because they're preparing for the generation to come. And so my journey has not been a straight line. I've navigated spaces that they weren't always welcoming to youth voices or women voices for that matter. I've learned to speak even when my voice shook, to be persistent when progress was slow, and to remain committed to service. Before holding public office, I've worked closely with young people in schools, in the rural communities in particular, and through youth organizations, listening to their fears, their ambitions, their mental health challenges, and their concerns about the future. I met young people not only at celebrations, but in moments of uncertainty, the frustration, and the self-doubt. And those experiences taught me a very critical lesson, that policy must feel human or it will fail. And that lesson has stood with me, and it's something that I've embodied as I continue to deliberate for our young people to make policies that affect their lives. And so my approach to leadership focuses on opening doors, sharing access, and creating those pathways for youth participation through mentorship, youth programs, policy engagement, and regional and international opportunities. So the question is today, do young people distrust democracy and political institutions? That's a very interesting topic. What I would say is that I do not believe they distrust democracy in itself. They distrust exclusion. And when institutions listen, include, and evolve, democracy becomes more relevant, more resilient, and more trusted. And I believe that the future of democracy is something is not something that we wait for. It's something we practice, not as elderly persons, not as governmental officials, not as young people in isolation, but it's something that we practice together.
Thank you so much, Senator Seville, for the opening address for the 49th Parliamentary Session. Let's now invite the next speaker for today for their opening address. A very warm welcome to Ms. Shara Singh, the Member of Parliament from South Africa. Ma'am, over to you for the opening address, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Honourable Chair, distinguished guests, and members of the 5th World Teen Parliament. Firstly, my congratulations to every one of you who has been elected to this Parliament. You were chosen to represent, to question, and to lead. I also thank the convener for inviting me to be part of this session. Being on a platform with young people willing to step into responsibility is not a routine, it is rare. The title of Member of Parliament carries weight because it demands accountability. In Parliament, words matter because decisions affect lives. Leadership is not about visibility or applause. It is about what you are willing to take responsibility for when the room goes quiet. As teen MPs, you are now accountable not just for what you say here, but what you choose to do when this Parliament ends. You are often told that you are leaders of tomorrow. I challenge that idea. You already are leaders. You already influence opinions, mobilize communities, and shape conversations at a scale previous generations never could. With that influence comes responsibility. Silence is a choice. Convenience is a choice. And history treats choices seriously. So, what do I expect from you? I expect you to lead with empathy, to remember that leadership is not about being the smartest voice in the room, but about understanding the lives of those who are not in the room at all. If your argument cannot hold compassion, it is not strong enough. I expect you to check your ego at the door. Titles do not make you important. Service does. This Parliament is not a stage to prove how impressive you are. It is a responsibility to prove how committed you are to others. I expect you to prepare before you speak. and to listen just as seriously as you argue. Disagree with courage, but never with cruelty. Challenge systems, including the ones you benefit from, and be honest about the discomfort that comes with that. And above all, I expect you to act. Not someday, not when it is easy, but now. Leadership also means knowing when to seek guidance. Seek mentorship aggressively. Reach out to international organizations, universities, foundations, NGOs, and public leaders. Apply for scholarships. Ask for funding. Build coalitions. The doors exist, but they do not open for those who hesitate outside them. As a leader, I am ready to support those who take this responsibility seriously through mentorship and student exchanges. Remember, opportunity follows effort and commitment attracts support. This parliament is a test of leadership. The world you are inheriting is complex, unequal, and impatient for solutions, and it will not lower its expectations because of your age. When you leave this room, you will not be measured by how confidently you spoke, but by whether you chose empathy over ego, integrity over indifference, and responsibility over recognition. I wish each of you the very best in the debates ahead. Speak boldly, listen deeply, and challenge wisely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shara Singh. And yes, you're very right when you say that choices will always be remembered in history. History is brutal with your choices because people clearly remember what you chose as leaders. It's not just here that you'll be judged. When you are a public representative, when you are in a public office, you are judged at every single moment. Whether you are in the public eye or not in the public eye, each action is looked at. Thank you so much, Ms. Shara Singh. Let's now listen to our next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Tamarin Breedt, the Member of Parliament from South Africa. A very warm welcome, ma'am. Over to you for your opening address. And before Tammy really starts, she has been instrumental in helping the World Teen Parliament a lot. She has taken master classes for teenagers. Thank you so much for devoting your time to Teen Parliament. Over to you, and a very warm welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daksh. It's so good to be here with all of you guys. It's good to be at the 49th session and to actually see the 5th World Teen Parliament being elected today. It makes me so excited. And maybe just to give a bit of background and clarity on that, I was the party I represent in Parliament. I was their first female national youth leader. I was also one of the first females in Parliament, and I was their youngest member in Parliament when I started a term back. So this is really passionate. This is a passion project for me. I feel really strong about that. I see there are, and guys, not to be discriminating against you, but I like to see so many young women here, so many girls here. I was at a meeting this past weekend and I realized that every single provincial youth leader in the Freedom Front Plus was a female. And as they say, the future is female. So thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking out, because at the end of the day, politics are usually seen as a man's job, and studies show that women understand with empathy and can lead as well as men. So I want to really congratulate you on being here and stepping up. And then I want to continue, and I want to say being an MP has a huge responsibility. You are the voice of your people, of your constituents. To put it into context, in South Africa, each of our positions, mine and the Honourable Singh's, equates to 60,000 people. That means I represent 60,000 voices that I need to look at and I need to take into consideration when keeping government to account, when talking on their behalf, when creating laws in the best interest of the country as a whole, and then when I help my constituents with work. This is a very important position because I have a very important quote that I always use, which I learned today is actually a bit incorrect. I usually say, ultimate power corrupts ultimately. And today, to confirm that I'm saying it correctly, I actually read up on it. And this was a quote by Lord Acton, a British politician and historian. And he already said in 1887, I don't know about you, but that's a very long time ago, that power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts ultimately. And I think if you look at the world today, if you look at the governments of the countries that a lot of you represent, and you see the human rights violations going on, I think it is so important to realize that absolute power can corrupt ultimately, and that your job as an MP, be it in a World Teen Parliament or where you are in Grenada or in St. Lucia or in South Africa or in India or wherever you are, that you need to be the adult in the room. You need to be the responsible one. And you need to ensure that democracy suffices. Young people are important. And I went to go look at the impact that young people have had in governments, in overthrowing dictators. And it's important to note that not one of them, or the ones that I thought of and looked at, were violent. They were all young people coming together collectively, speaking their minds, being eloquent. And you can go and look at 1956 in Hungary, 1968 in Pakistan, 1976 in South Africa, 1989 in Czechoslovakia, in 2010 in Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, 2019 in Sudan, more recently 2024 in Bangladesh, 2025 in September in Nepal, where young people and women stood up and said enough is enough. And that is the power, that when your voice and your collective voice becomes so loud that you can actually amount to anything. I think Honorable Singh said it, and I always feel, being a young person, you might feel I'm young. What do I have to offer? Why are people going to listen to me? And I say that the worst that anyone can say is no. Shoot your shot always. Speak your voice always. Don't be there just for the populist remarks. I pride myself on being an MP who does not say what is popular to say, but what is needed to say, what needs to be governed. And with that, I want to conclude by saying I look forward to these debates. In the past debates, we've seen young people who believe in a cause, who are steadfast, who listen to their peers, and who can eloquently elaborate and convince us of their subject. Good luck for these debates. I look forward to hearing that. And maybe tongue-in-cheek, Honourable Singh, you serving in the NA now and me serving in the NCOP, the higher house of Parliament, I think we look forward to some intelligent debating here today, because we don't necessarily always see that in our Parliament. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you so much, all the guests for today, for their opening statements. Now is the time to get into the voting debate, the unique debating forum at the World Teen Parliament. But we have kept it in a very, brief manner today, because we have to announce the results as well for the 5th World Teen Parliament. Most importantly, there'll be some students who will be debating for 59 seconds. And just after that, there's an interesting surprise for all of you. And as happens in all the voting debates at the World Teen Parliament, the winner is decided by the voters or the audience on the call. So you get to decide who wins the debate. So listen to all the debaters carefully. You'll get a chance to vote for them. And then that individual who gets the maximum votes wins the debate. Along with that, all our guests who are the jury members for today's debate, they will also be marking you on 3 parameters of relevance of content, clarity, and confidence. And each debate will have 2 winners, one decided by the jury and the other that the audience decides or the voters decide. So I would request all the jury members, I hope you have the access to the Google Sheet and everything is in place. If it is, just give me a thumbs up so that we can move ahead. Great. Lovely. Thank you so much. I think, Mr. Claudius, you also have the access to the sheet and it's working fine. Okay, so we'll now be inviting the students one after the other. Remember, you only have 59 seconds to speak. So the first speaker for today, I would request all the jury members. The first speaker is serial number 2, Mr. Ayush Jain. Serial number 2 on your sheets. Ayush Jain, please unmute yourself. Your 59 seconds start now. Ayush, you're unmuted. You can start.
Young people do not hate democracy. If we did, we wouldn't be arguing about it online at 2 a.m. We believe in democracy. We are just tired of how it is working. We grew up seeing corruption and slow systems, and unknowingly, we also grew up watching frustrated elders say, nothing ever changes. That frustration rubbed off even before we understood politics. Then social media stepped in, where anger spreads faster than facts and confusion starts feeling like truth. So, yes, youth voter turnout is lower, but not because we don't care, but because we feel unheard. The solution is not fewer young voices, it's more. Cleaner politics, real youth representation, and leaders who listen. Concluding, the problem is not democracy. The problem is not young minds. It is the system that shaped us without even hearing us.
Thank you so much, Ayush. The next speaker is Jumana. Jumana, Mustafa, over to you. Please unmute yourself. Your 59 seconds start now.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Jumana Mustafa, and I'm sharing my views on the topic: Do young people distrust democracy and political institutions? You see, in any governmental system, trust is the most important factor, and the youth slowly come to realize that their voices are not being heard. Instead, decisions are being made without them. High youth unemployment, increased debt burdens, and difficulty in affording housing are all the major challenges faced by the youth right now, which have contributed to this distrust. The lack of representation also exacerbates this issue, as there is no one to represent this section of the population and address their concerns. In conclusion, to foster a better understanding between the democratic system and the youth, let the government ask itself this: what would they think of the decision? How does it affect the youth of today? And last of all, are the majority of the citizens of my country happy with this? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jumana. Jumana was serial number 5. The next speaker is serial number 6, Aina Ejaz. Aina, over to you. Please unmute yourself. Your 59 seconds start now.
Honorable ministers and esteemed members of parliament, well, to the question of whether young people distrust democracy and our political institutions, the candid and very honest answer is yes. Many of us do. However, this distrust does not stem from a rejection of democracy. Rather, it arises because democracy increasingly appears to be removed from the realities of our lives. When we, as the youngsters, when we, as the youth of today's generation, see commitments are being made but are left unfulfilled, or when we see our political leaders engaged in prolonged debates, prolonged disputes, without real life problem solving, without decisive problem solving, this naturally results in decline of trust. We, as the teens, do not dislike democracy, we simply demand change. Include our voices, include our opinions into decision making, into policy making. We believe that if decisions are taken through our consultations, also, if we are also included.
Thank you so much, Aina. The 59 seconds were over. Aina was serial number 6. The next speaker is serial number 7, Aksa Farooq Sofi. Aksa, over to you for the next 59 seconds. Mr. Claudius, if you have difficulty in posting the scores, you can just message them on WhatsApp to the team. They will collate it accordingly. You can directly WhatsApp to Blub and they'll collate. The next speaker now is serial number 7, Aksa Farooq Sofi. Serial number 7, Aksa, over to you for the next 59 seconds.
Greetings to everybody. Answering the question that do young people distrust democracy and political institutions? My answer is probably yes. Young people distrust democracy and political institutions largely because of the corruption and as we see that, as today we see that many young people say sorry
No worries, Aksa. Let's go to the next speaker for today. It's serial number 8, Maliha Ejaz. Serial number 8 for all the jury members. Serial number 8, Maliha Ejaz. Maliha, over to you for the next 59 seconds.
When we hear that young people distrust democracy and political institutions, it often sounds like a problem, right? But what if it's actually a powerful signal for change? Young people are growing up in a world full of information, challenges, and unanswered questions. They see inequality and the leaders who sometimes fail to act. They are not turning away from democracy, they are asking it to do better. Young people want honesty, fairness, and real opportunities to participate. They want institutions that reflect their voices and values. Questioning this system is not the rejection of democracy. This is how democracy stays alive. History shows us that progress has always come from the young people who dare to speak up. If we listen to these young people and we will trust them, the democracy will become stronger than ever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maliha. Maliha was serial number 8. Do you remember serial number 8? That was Maliha. Now is serial number 9. The serial number 9 is Fatima Gaur. Fatima, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
Do young people distrust democracy and political institutions? Yes. We don't distrust it because we hate it. We distrust it because we have seen too much. Let me talk about it. The same promises, and yet our real lives remain the same. The same politicians, the same leaders, and the same promises, and yet no one takes accountability or responsibility. It's like the democracy we are seeing right now is only truly seen in textbooks and not in real life. It's not like young people don't care or they don't speak up. We speak up, we care, we vote, but the current political system, it doesn't listen to us. And it's not that young people are losing faith in democracy. The real problem is that democracy is losing the faith and trust of young people. Young people do not want to destroy democracy. We have to fix it. We want to fix it before it will lose another generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Fatima Gaur was serial number 9. The next is serial number 10, Rishit Sinha. Rishit, please unmute yourself. You have the next 59 seconds.
Greetings to the jury members. Do young people distrust democracy and political institutions? Hello everyone, I'm Rishit Sinha from Sun City School 3017, and today I stand to answer this question. Yes, many teens do feel this way, not because they hate democracy, because they see their leaders making promises but not keeping them. This makes them lose trust. Young people also feel that their voices are not heard, their promises are not being kept. Because of this, they start doubting the system, but they still believe in fairness and change. Young people do not hate democracy. They just want it to work better. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishit. Rishit was serial number 10. Now it's serial number 11. Tamanna Bansal. Tamanna, over to you for the next 59 seconds. Serial number 11. Tamanna, you're unmuted. You can start. I think Tamanna is facing some technical issue. Let's move on to serial number 12, Riddhi Chaudhary. Riddhi, over to you. Please unmute yourself for the next 59 seconds.
Young people don't dislike democracy. We just don't like feeling invisible in it. Good morning, everyone. My name is Riddhi, and today I'm addressing the question: do young people distrust democracy and political institutions? Sometimes, yes. In many countries, less than half of young people vote, and survey shows lower trust in governments among young than older generations. But this isn't apathy. Young people are leading climate movements in over 100 countries and speaking up about equality, education, and mental health. Clearly, we care. We just expect results, not just speeches. The real problem is the gap between promises and actions. When changes feel slow, trust feels fragile. But questioning democracy doesn't mean rejecting it. It means we believe it can do better. Young people aren't giving up. We're asking democracy to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Riddhi. So all the speakers, all the debaters for today have spoken. I would request jury members to, complete the sheet and put the marks if you haven't done it yet. Riddhi was serial number 12. I would request the team to collate the marks at the back end. And now is the time for the interesting part. All the audience members who are there on the call, are you ready for the voting? Because now you decide who wins today's debate. Because I can see there is no for and against on today's topic. Everyone is for the topic. It's a one-sided debate where everyone says a yes to the topic. So it's not a fight between the yes and the no. The fight is between who do you think out of all of these teenagers must have the power to take decisions for you? We'll be opening the voting lines in some time. What I just said simply encapsulates how parliaments work. A member of parliament is someone who would take decisions for you, and all those decisions become laws. So, whatever they decide for you, you have no choice. You have to comply. That's the power that you give them. So, today as well, when you cast this vote, cast it for that individual that you think can decide how your life will look like. He might not be able to do it on this call itself, but just keep this in your imagination. This is not a debate that they are winning. This is your trust that they are winning. And if you give them the trust, they get the power to alter your life in whichever direction they deem fit. Is the audience ready to vote? If you're ready to vote, give me a thumbs up. If you're not ready to vote, give me a thumbs down. So I know how many of you are ready to vote. Okay, so many thumbs up so quickly. Thank you so much. I would request the team to open the voting lines, but before they open, remember when the voting dialog box opens in front of you, don't close it. If you close, you won't be able to cast your vote. It won't appear again. So when it comes in front of you, it's a list of people. Click on the name of the individual that you think should win today's debate. Everyone ready? The voting lights will open right now in front of you. You'll see a box appear with all the names. It has started. Ayush, Jain, Jumana, Mustafa, Aisha, Ejaz, Aksa, Farooq, Maliha, Ejaz, Fatima Gohar, Rishit Sinha, and Ridhi Chaudhary. I would request everyone who's there on the call, if you're a debater, if you're a jury member, if you're a student, if you're a parent, everyone can vote. So right now, go and click on the name of the individual that you think must win today's debate and whom you would like to hold the power on your life. So 51% of the people have already casted their vote who are there on the call. Try casting your vote as quickly as possible. Superb. So, okay, 70% of the people on the call have already casted their vote. Go and quickly click on the name of the individual that you think should win today's debate. It's not just winning the debate, it's taking a decision for you. Are you ready for that? Okay, 76% of the people have voted. We are still waiting for you to quickly cast your vote. The voting line will be open for a very short while now. I can, kind of see who is winning the debate, but I cannot tell it to you right now. Let the voting continue. So all of you, 80% of the people have already voted. Lovely. I would request the remaining 20%, don't lose the opportunity. Quickly click on the name. You have to understand, in every democracy on the face of this earth, each parliament gives its citizens only one absolute power, with no questions asked, no caveats, nothing. And that absolute power is the power to vote. All the other powers that a citizen has comes with a set of conditions. There could be an ifs and buts to it, the rights that you might have, but the right to vote is undisputable. So use it well, understand it well, because voting in itself is a skill that everyone does not have. So try building that skill by casting the vote, not because you want somebody to win the debate, but because you want someone to take decisions on your behalf. If you're ready for that, superb. I think nearly 85 or 80% of the people have already cast their vote. The 20% are still sleeping. No worries. Now the countdown begins. You have the final 20 seconds to cast your vote, and then the voting line will close. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 101. I would request the team to end the poll and preserve the results as of now. Don't share the results. Let's make it a little more interesting for everyone. Now is the time that you will know the merit winner. Now, there are two ideas that I want to explain to everyone who's there on the call. There's something called democracy. We all understand rule of the people. If 6 people out of 10 people say a yes to something, the decision is yes. That's democracy. Now, the other idea is meritocracy. It's very simple to understand. Think of your class topper. He is the meritocratic winner because he has scored the maximum marks. So today's meritocratic winner is the one that the jury decides. But does meritocracy give us precedents? No, democracy does. But it's very important to understand meritocracy as well. So the merit winner will be decided by the jury. So let me quickly see if the team has collated your marks. I think the team is still doing that. Now, before I announce the result for this, it's time for the most interesting part of this whole session today. We are very thankful to all the guests for agreeing to this. Now, all the teens, you debated amongst each other. You spoke on the topic in the way you thought was fit. Now listen to the professionals, listen to the pros, the people who understand emotion, the people who understand aspiration, the people who understand people in the best format. These are public representatives. So we're very thankful to all the guests because all our speakers for today, the sitting policymakers of different countries, will again do a similar debate in front of you. They'll take 59 seconds and pitch you the same idea, discuss on the same idea, and you all in the audience gets to decide who wins. Now, before we do this activity, I want to make it clear to everyone, we are very thankful to all the speakers for accepting this. We have immense respect for everyone. They are not just, here. It could be a learning experience for everyone, but these are people who are elected by so many people. They are held in very high respect. We don't mean to demean them in any way. This is an activity only for educational purposes. The MPs have agreed. They're very graceful for, agreeing to this. I, thank them with my folded hands. But today, just to give you a learning experience, they will get 59 seconds to speak on the topic, and all the audience will get to vote and select who wins from the 4 of them, just for the sake of learning. And now it's time to listen to them. I would request the guests, you will have to limit yourself to 59 seconds during this section. We will mute you once the 59-second time limit is over. The idea of doing this for all the teenagers on this call, you've listened to your peers, now listen to them. What do they choose to speak? How much they choose to speak? Do they use cadence? Do they speak as much content as possible? What do they do? Look at their decision making of speaking, communication, understanding your emotion, because they know it very well how to get the trust of the people. That's why they're in that position. So this is a learning experience for all of you. We'll start in the same order that we had the opening statements. I'll invite the guests. They'll have 59 seconds to speak on today's topic. A very warm welcome to Mr. Claudius J. Francis, the Honorable Speaker for the House of Assembly of St. Lucia. Over to you for the next 59 seconds.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I just want to start by saying the opening statements clearly distinguished a speaker from a participating member. The speaker was brief, with a maximum economy of words. But having said that, according to the 2025-2026 reports from Harvard, Youth Poll and Turf Circle, only about 16% of young adults believe democracy is working well for them. This disillusionment is driven by perceived systemic failures, chronic economic inequality, and the influence of dark money. Critically, this young generation actually believes more in totalitarianism than in democracy, and that is critical, absolutely critical. So all of the members that I heard spoke to the topic, and I think they acquitted themselves excellently.
The 59 seconds were over. I think you made your point, and I think some very impressive content came out. Let's now listen to the next speaker for today. Again, only 59 seconds. Kids, please listen carefully because you have to choose who wins from all the four. So a very warm welcome to Senator Seville Francis, the Parliamentary Secretary from the government of Grenada. Ma'am, over to you for the next 59 seconds. Please unmute yourself.
Democracy is a system of government where power is vested in the people who exercise it directly or through freely elected representatives. I would say that democracy is not failing young people, but exclusion is. Young people do not reject democracy because they are careless. They reject systems that speak about them, those that legislate for them, but refuse to decide with them. That is not democracy. That is management. You see, trust is not built by slogans or elections every 5 years or youth tokenism. Trust is built through access, through participation and accountability. When people are allowed to decision-making spaces, democracy feels distant, slow, and irrelevant. And relevance is a currency of trust. In countries like mine, Grenada, we have learned this lesson. Through structured youth governance, including a national youth parliament that mirrors a real parliament, young people debate issues that affects them. Participation restores belief. Young people do not distrust democracy.
Thank you so much, Senator. The 59 seconds for over. 59 seconds is a very short amount of time to make an impression, but still amazing content. Teenagers, listen to the words they use very carefully. Listen to the content that they're bringing out. What do they think can, make space in your hearts for them? So let's now listen to the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Miss Shara Singh, the Member of Parliament from South Africa. Ma'am, over to you for the next 59 seconds. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Chair. Let's be honest. Many young people today distrust democracy and political institutions. They see corruption, broken promises, and leaders who seem out of touch. When decisions are made without their voices, it is easy to feel excluded and frustrated. But this distrust is not rejection, it is a demand for change. Young people are insisting that democracy live up to its ideals of transparency, accountability, and fairness. Without it, voices are ignored, inequality grows, and opportunities for the next generation are lost. As leaders, we must listen, create real opportunities for engagement, and show that institutions can respond to their needs. When young people see that their voices matter, they invest in the system, and when they invest, democracy becomes stronger, more resilient, and inclusive for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shara Singh. Absolutely on time. Now it's time to listen to the fourth speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Tamarin, the Member of Parliament from South Africa. Tammy, over to you for the next 59 seconds. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, colleagues. 70 years old, the average age of a parliamentarian and president on the continent of Africa. 26 years, the average age of a citizen in South Africa. Closer to home in South Africa, 65%. The number of citizens in South Africa under the age of 35. 30%. The number of youth registrations. 19%. The number of those registered youth that went out to vote. It's not because you do not have a voice. It's because you do not use your opportunity. Go out, go and vote. Choose civil servants who don't just talk and make empty promises, but who show you what they do, who can prove with a track record that they do what they speak. So take up this opportunity and speak your voice. Make a choice.
Thank you so much, Tammy. So all the speakers, the guests for today have also shared their perspective with all of you. I hope you learned something, that what do the professionals do when they come to address you, how they gauge the audience, how they look at you, how they try to understand what is it that you would really listen to. As debaters, as people who look, you might want to find space in the public space, listen to these people, how they chose to what they want to speak. So now is the time when you vote for them and you choose which of them wins this interesting debate that we had today among sitting policymakers. Thank you so much for, doing this for us, all the guests for today. So again, you'll see a box in front of you with their names on it. Click on the name of the individual that you think must win today's debate. If you're ready, give me a thumbs up. If you're not ready, give me a thumbs down. But the voting line is already open. Click on the name of the individual that you think should win today's debate. You see the four names of our amazing guests today, Mr. Claudius J. Francis, Senator Seville Francis, Ms. Shara Singh, and Ms. Tamarin Breedt on your screens. Click on the name of the individual that you think should win today's debate. And why are you voting for them? Think that in your mind. Why are you casting your vote for them? Why do you want them to win? Is it the appearance? Is it the delivery? Is it the content? Is it the confidence? What is it that, strike the chord? Why are you voting for them? That why gives you the answer of voting as a skill. That's what you need to understand more and more and more to have better leaders, better democracy, and amazing parliaments. So, okay, 85% of the people voted for our guest today, more than the ones who voted for the teenagers. 86% of the people have already voted. I can see who has got the maximum votes, but we cannot show it to you right now. We'll be preserving the results. 86% of you have voted. If you still haven't voted, please go there, click on the name of the individual that you think must win today's debate. Now, the interesting part about today's debate, which is even interesting for the policymakers, they just debated in front of an audience where they did not know the interest breakup. They did not know the gender breakup. They did not understand their constituency, and they debated. So that's the gray area that they also have. And that's why today's result will be a little interesting for them as well, that how did it come out? When you do it in front of an audience that you have no idea about, how the dynamics change. So 86% of the people have voted. In the final 10 seconds, if you haven't casted your vote, do it right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I would request the team to close the polls and preserve the results. Don't show the results right now. Let's keep it a little more interesting for some more time. So now is the time when you get to know the merit-based winner from the teens' perspective. So when the teenagers debated, who's the one who got the maximum marks from our jury members today? Do you all want to know that? If you want to know that, give me a thumbs up. Only then you'll get to know who won the jury winner for today. I can see a lot of thumbs up in the air. So many congratulations to Maliha Ejaz. Maliha, congratulations. You are the one who got the maximum marks on relevance, content, confidence. Congratulations to you. You win today's debate based on merit. How does it make you feel?
I'm feeling very nice and very good.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So policymakers from so many countries think that you're on the right track. You have the right content, relevance, and confidence. Congratulations to you. Now is the time when we get to know who is the one who got the maximum votes among teenagers. Do you all want to know that? If you want to know that, bob your head like this. When I see the heads bobbing, okay, I can see so many heads bobbing. Lovely. So it's time to tell you, or rather show you the results of the polls so that you understand how people around you voted. So everyone, are you ready for it? So what you see on your screen now is the results for the polls in the teenagers. I would request the team to show the results. You can see which individual got how many votes, and the winner is Fatima Gaur. Congratulations, Fatima. You are the one who got the maximum votes today. You won today's voting debate. So, Fatima, just for the sake of it, just for everyone's realization, you have the next 1 minute. If you had to decide whether you want democracy in the world or autocracy in the world, what's your decision?
Well, if I had to choose, I would probably choose democracy. Well, there are still some soft corners that need to be changed, but currently it's still the best form of government we have right now.
Superb. So everyone, even if you believed in autocracy, you cannot do that anymore because your elected leader thinks democracy works. That's how parliaments work. So for a moment, imagine whatever Fatima said becomes undisputable. This is what happens when a law is made. It, to an extent, becomes undisputable. There is some space to dispute, but it feels like this. So what you feel right now could be either voter elation, that you're happy with the decision, or voter regret, that you're not happy with it. Both of these emotions voters do have in their life cycle. So do you all want to know who won the debate from our guests today? Or you want to know the 100 teen MPs at the 5th World Teen Parliament? If you want to know the winner from our guests, put both your hands up in the air. If you want to know who are the... Okay, everyone wants to know this. Lovely. So let's now, before I give you the result or show you the result, let's take a quick, 1-minute feedback from our guests that what do they feel who will win? Mr. Claudius J. Francis, who do you think will win?
I have no idea. One of the things you know in politics is never to predict voting because you have absolutely no control over it.
Absolutely. Senator Seville, what's your thought?
I share the same sentiment as my colleague from St. Lucia. We will allow democracy to take precedence.
Ms. Shara Singh, nobody's taking any sides.
Yes, Daksh, I agree. I think everyone's given valuable input, and I think it depends on what resonates with our teen MPs. So I think we're all anxiously waiting to hear as well.
Tammy, who do you think will win?
Well, I want to make a guess, but also I don't want to go against what my other colleagues have said to let democracy reign. I think just from my side, I think which we all learned was not knowing who your constituents are and what is that triggers them made it really difficult to decide how I'm going to approach this. So if that be a lesson for all of the World Teen Parliament members, is make sure you know who your constituents are and what will attract them. Thanks, Daksh.
Thank you so much, Tammy. And I think all the MPs, all the teenagers who are here who get elected as MPs, remember the most important skill in human history and in the human future has been and will always be understanding people. How better you understand them, how better you predict them, how better you could, you get along with their emotion is what matters a lot. Whether you become an MP or a company CEO or a successful entrepreneur, it's all about people. So now is the time to show you all the results of who won today's debate from our 4 guests. I would request the team to please show the results to everyone on the screen. Congratulations, Tammy. You got nearly 76 votes and you won today's debate. The next one is Shara Singh. After that, Senators Seville and Mr. Claudius are on the same voting numbers. So first of all, I'm very thankful to all the 4 guests today for being so graceful and accepting this. We totally understand, it's very difficult to be on this stage and doing this when, people are seeing you at every point of time. But we are very thankful to you because I think it has been an amazing learning opportunity for all the teenagers here that when you speak on a topic, how do people choose things? How do professionals, how do policymakers, how careful they have to be with each word that they speak? How they have to pick and choose what to say, what not to say. How is their life superbly difficult? It's easy to blame the politician, but it's superbly difficult to be the politician. So you have to understand the kind of tightrope that they walk on. I'm really thankful to all of you for doing this for us. I can understand it's, it's too much of us to ask you this, but really, really thank you so much for doing this for us. So now is the time, the crucial time we are nearly at the end of the session. We'll be announcing the results of the 5th World Teen Parliament. So everyone who wants to know the result, be ready. We'll quickly take the closing statements. And with the last closing statement, we'll be announcing the 100 MPs for the 5th World Teen Parliament. Over to Mr. Claudius Francis for his closing statements of the 49th Parliamentary Session and the initiation of the 5th World Teen Parliament.
Well, thank you very much for having invited me. It was a most enlightening session because far too often we, the politicians, think we can speak for the youth. It was interesting to hear from them today, and I look forward to even more of that. And I congratulate the winners in each of the categories that you suggested or announced earlier. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Claudius. Over to Senator Seville Francis for her closing statements.
Thank you very much. Before I close, I want to take this opportunity to commend every young person participating in this teen parliament. By choosing to be here, by debating, by questioning and engaging, you are already taking part in a democratic process of governance. What you're doing matters. You are breaking barriers that once kept young voices outside decision-making spaces, and you are paving the way for future generations who will benefit from the courage you have shown today. You are not waiting for the change, but here you are being the change you wish to see. But let me also say that this power that you now have comes with great responsibility. Democracy is not just about having a voice. It is how you use that voice. It requires integrity, respect for different views, and a commitment to the common good. That is my expectation of you as teen MPs. And those expectations are very high. I expect you to be curious. I expect you to challenge systems, but also help improve them. Practice empathy and avoid division. It is here to help us. It is our friend. Knowing its power to inform and depend on your title. Do not let your title dictate who you are. Remember that leadership is action and it's not just a position. Teen MPs, you are not simulations. You are preparation for a future that will be beautiful and one that the future generations would love to be a part of. Your training here is a leadership voice. It's that ethical compass that will lead the future generations. And it's also a courage for you to act, even when it is uncomfortable. And I am telling you, it will get very uncomfortable. The future of democracy will be shaped by how seriously you take this responsibility given to you today. And based on what I saw, democracy is in capable hands. So thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for stepping to the forefront and being part of political life and governance, more importantly. And I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Senator Seville. Over to Ms. Shara Singh for her closing statements. Ma'am, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Daksh. Firstly, congratulations to all of the winners. You are all winners here today, but for those who have had the special privilege, well done. As we close the session, let's pause and reflect on where we are. The world you are stepping into is unlike any generation before. Geopolitical tensions ripple across borders. Technology, especially AI, is reshaping economies, societies, and even how we connect. Climate change, inequality, and governance challenges demand urgent solutions. The choices we make today in technology, governance, and climate will define whether your generation inherits opportunity or crisis. And yet, you teen MPs have already shown you are not passive observers. You are thinkers, innovators, and agents of change. That is both a privilege and a responsibility. You hold power today, the power to question, to challenge, and to inspire action. But power without responsibility is wasted. Courage without action is opportunity lost. We also know that many of today's leaders fall short of the values they are meant to uphold. Too often, decisions are made without courage, integrity, or vision. That is why your generation has a chance and a responsibility to lead differently. Opportunities like this, where generations engage meaningfully with each other, help bridge gaps and remind us that learning is never one way. You inspire us and we learn from you. Leadership is a bridge connecting generations, ideas, and communities. So I ask you, where do you want to take us from here? What kind of leaders will you be when the world expects answers you may not yet have? Will you lead with empathy, even when it is uncomfortable? Will you use technology wisely, not just to impress, but to empower? Will you act boldly across borders and differences? Because the world can no longer afford indifference. Remember, even small actions ripple outward, like Greta Thunberg beginning with a single school strike, or Malala speaking out for education. Small actions can ignite global movements. Mistakes will happen. They always do. But it is your willingness to act, to think deeply, and to stand for what is right that defines true leadership. As we conclude, I leave you with this challenge. Do not settle for the world as it is. Do not wait for someone else to create change. Ask hard questions, take bold actions, use your voice, push boundaries, innovate solutions, and build bridges. The parliament ends, the debates conclude, but the future is still being written. The world waits, not for followers, but for leaders like you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shara Singh, for the closing statements. Ms. Tamarin Breedt for the closing statements for this parliamentary session. Tammy, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Daksh. First to Blub World and the World Teen Parliament, to my fellow panelists, and to all of you, the World Teen Parliament members. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for availing yourself to be part of such an important platform. Thank you for being the voices in your country. And I hope in years to come that we will see you on an international stage, that we will be able to meet in person, and that we can sit at round tables and discuss important ideas. I want to concur with what all of my panelists have said, but I want to give and end with some real world advice. Because what we need to remember is with great power comes great responsibility. And being part of the World Teen Parliament stage, you have given that first step. And that is a responsibility that you need to take full on your shoulders. But what you need to do to accomplish what you set out for is to read and read some more. Know what is happening in the world, know what is happening in your country, read the history books, read the books about politicians and about leaders, good or bad, and decide what is it that you want to carry out. Look at the issues in your country, look at what impacts the young people, and decide what it is that you are passionate about and fight for that. Find out how the political system in your country works and how you can become involved. And become involved in your community, at civil society level, at political party level, in your school, for the school governing council or the student body. Look at those places. Look at the places where you can practice to hone your skills. Start talking to friends about what you are passionate about, and then do your research. Because at the end of the day, do not seek to be a famous person or to be known, but seek to be the one that is known as the helper, as the voice for the voiceless, and automatically you will become famous and become known. And I'm usually very cheesy, and it's a song that you will have to go and Google and YouTube because you will not know it. But Baz Luhrmann has a song called the Sunscreen Song, which says what you need to be serious about and what you need to take lightly. And it says in one, and it's a beautiful song, I love it to bits, but it says, enjoy the power and beauty of your youth, because you will not realize until that is faded. And that is, you do not realize the power within you, the opportunity to have, the networking. I mean, we have Zoom meetings and we have Insta and Snapchat, and you have all these things in your ability to be able to easily change the world. So go out and be the voice for the voiceless that we want to see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you so much, all the guests, for being here with us. Now is the time to announce the list of the 100 teens who get elected as members of parliament of the 5th World Teen Parliament. Before I do that, everyone, two important instructions. You have a WhatsApp link in the chat. Go and join the WhatsApp link. You will be approved as a joinee tomorrow. When the list is announced, only the members who get elected to the teen parliament, they will only be approved to join the group. So quickly go and put in your request in the WhatsApp group so that you can be admitted tomorrow. And for all the elected teen MPs and influencers, tomorrow, 11 a.m. IST is your first masterclass, which is the introduction to the World Teen Parliament. Make sure you do not miss it. So now everyone, if you want to know the names of the 100 teens, put both your hands up in the air so that I know there's enough energy to announce that list. So everyone, congratulations. Go right now on blubworld.com. Click on the button on the home screen and you can see the list of the 100 teen MPs who get elected to the 5th World Teen Parliament. Right away, go on the website and you can see it as a Google document with the names listed. It's now public. I can see it on the other screen next to me. There are more than 100, 200 people on that Google document who are right now seeing that list. So congratulations to all the elected MPs and the influencers at the 5th World Teen Parliament. Thank you so much to all the guests, all the teens, parents, schools, everyone who was a part of this journey of the World Teen Parliament. An amazing start to all of us for the 5th World Teen Parliament. Thank you, everyone. Signing off. I am Daksh. It was amazing interacting with all of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a nice day, afternoon, or an evening, or a good night, whichever part of the world you're coming from. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you.